Pick up what you can if you're brand new. So today and Tuesdays is all about referrals and working with referrals. So what I'm going to teach you guys today, this is a type of referral that you can get from your clients. And I think this applies not only to life insurance, but it also applies to like investments, right? Because it's the same issue that you would have with insurance, you would have with investments. Like when somebody passes away, and if the person that passed away wasn't, you know, didn't let you know that they had like investment accounts and life insurance policies, or digging through papers and looking for what they had where. Maybe some of you guys have dealt with that, of relatives that have passed away, and now you're like scrambling to figure out where things are, right? So this is a really good a conversation that you can even have with your investment clients. So as far as emergency contacts, I'm going to take you from A to Z, how you would use them, how I use them, and so there's going to be like, step one is from the time you complete an application to collecting them to setting up a new one and then repeating the process, is what I'm going to be going over today. And so starting off with, what is an emergency contact and why would you get an emergency contact? One of the biggest issues in the life insurance industry is that every year there's literally billions of dollars that go unclaimed in life insurance proceeds because the beneficiaries did not know that their relatives had a life insurance policy in force. And there have been countless investigations into the insurance industry. And what they've found out repeatedly is a lot of times the insurance companies, they know that, companies find out when somebody passes away, but they don't see it as their obligation or responsibility to reach out to the beneficiary to let them know, hey, like your mother or father had an insurance policy, listed you as a beneficiary, and you're entitled to these benefits. So most of the companies will not reach out to you. They won't let you know. So really, it's your responsibility as a client to let your beneficiaries know, hey, listen, I have an insurance policy. This is the information. But a lot of clients, they don't do that. In fact, I've had clients that have told me, Shonda, yeah, I'm gonna leave my kids as beneficiaries, but I don't want them to know that they're beneficiaries. And then I'm like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, because if something happens to you, like they're not even gonna know about this, right? So why are you paying these premiums, right? Where is this money gonna go? Like if they don't know who I am, they don't know who you have the insurance with. So it's really, really important. You have to let them know. It's really, really important that your beneficiaries know. Okay, this is 60 Minutes did an investigation, and one of the things that this was done in Florida, and the reporter asks the state attorney, I think it was, it says, so in other words, life insurance companies are failing to pay out death benefits when they know the person is dead, and they're claiming they don't know. And then he says, in many cases, that has been exactly what we found.
That
Okay.
guy's the commissioner of Florida.
The commissioner of Florida, right? So they're not like tripping over themselves looking for you. I'm gonna share this really quick little clip just to hammer the point in. Another investigation that was done not too long ago. Well, let's see if the sound is so you guys can hear that. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Life insurance companies are sitting on money owed to beneficiaries after the death of a loved one.
State investigators say tens of millions of dollars are unclaimed in Florida, and they blame the insurance companies. NBC2 investigator Brian Anderson is live in the studio with what's going on, Brian.
So all of these insurance companies, they have access to the U.S. Social Security Death Master File so they can see if their policyholders have died. Many companies may be checking so they can fill their own pockets, but a proposed bill in Florida will make these insurers pay up.
Frances Haskins lost her cancer battle in 2001.
It was my grandmother from my father's side. Her name was, we called her Grandma Fran.
Her grandson, Kyle, lived in Central Florida at the time. Recently, he got a call out of the blue.
I didn't find out about until 4 months ago.
His grandma listed Kyle as her life insurance beneficiary, meaning for a decade and a half, he's been owed more than $70,000. The insurance company never notified him.
I found out through private investigators.
Prompted by the work of state legislators, including Senator Lizbeth Benaquisto.
He's just finding out now. that he had this life insurance money out there.
And that's the crux of the issue. It is unconscionable that life insurance companies who know that there is a passage of their policyholder did not feel it was their obligation to look for that beneficiary.
Florida, along with 43 other states, has been auditing life insurance companies since 2008. Records show billions of dollars owed to beneficiaries. In some cases, the insurers kept paying their deceased clients' premiums.
Imagine this hourglass as your life insurance balance. Instead of giving it to your beneficiary, the insurance company continues drawing from it to pay itself the monthly premiums, sometimes until it's all gone.
In Florida, settlements with 21 of the nation's largest insurance companies have paid out $340 million. Benequisto believes insurers owe tens of millions more.
And they don't want to honor those contracts, those obligations, those promises that they made.
So she introduced this bill in the Senate requiring insurance companies to check the death master file at least annually and retroactively pay beneficiaries for deaths since 1992.
Unfortunately, life insurance is a business. Unfortunately, they're gonna make a lot of money.
A life lesson for Kyle Haskins long after his grandmother's life ended.
There you go. So now there's been like countless reports when it comes to that kind of stuff. Now kind of an aside, would be if you've ever run into clients that they're like, well, I think maybe there is a policy, but we don't know, like, how can we find out if the person had a policy? If you go to this link right here, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, you could actually like look up in the database to see if they can find something. So this is something that you could provide to your clients that would kind of separate you from a customer service standpoint.
That's nice.
Yeah, that maybe they would not have otherwise known, right? So I'll provide that in the team chat so you guys have access to that, and it gives you the step-by-step instructions of how you can look that up. Now, from a your standpoint, right? The reason why you want to provide this service is because it's something that it's important, and that a lot of other companies they don't do this. And I've had calls with clients that they have left as emergency contacts. Like maybe I'll have a client that'll put their brother or sister, and then I talk to the brother or sister. They're like, "Well, I have an insurance policy, Gordon, and the agent that I work with never asked me for emergency contacts." So they try to make it sound like, okay, you're like, what is this, and
Yeah.
why do we need to do this, right? So now that you have the background, it's like you can maybe you can even send them that little short clip. You can go to YouTube online and send them that. You see, this is a big issue in the industry, right? That's why we go above and beyond. I go above and beyond for my clients to make sure that if something does happen, this gets paid out, so that
Heck yeah.
what you saw in that video, that doesn't happen to your brother, your sister. That's why. So you can take that and you can make it into a positive. And it's the right thing to do for your clients, and it helps the beneficiaries get the benefits that they're entitled to. It's just good customer service, right? And then
Yeah.
it also gives you an opportunity to serve more clients, right? Along with meeting people through a new associates hot market, because this business is a completely different animal. If you're working in the extremely hot market, it's so fun, right? Versus working in the cold market, and all this skepticism that you get in the cold market, you just don't have that in the hot market as much.
So
And it's a really great way to fill out your appointment book. Yeah,
it gives you, it like does two things. One, it's a service for them, like you said, but it also gives us, the agent, an opportunity to get in our face in front of another face.
That's right.
With a methodology that is better than even a referral.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And if you set it up the right way, it's going to make your appointment setting process 1,000 times easier.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to have
People
to
have a
be.
hard time with referrals. People don't,
Yes.
they're terrible with referrals.
Yeah, yeah. And what this does is it takes all the hesitancy and all the rejection away from working with referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the process, part of the service. Yeah, I need to meet with you because they left you and they trust you, right? And I'll go over those details, how you can set it up the right way. Now here's the steps, right? So this starts from the moment that you get a life insurance application. You're gonna have this kind of conversation, explain why, now that congratulations, Gordon and Jen, you guys took that first step. Now, one of the things that we have in the insurance industry, there's a big issue with claims going unpaid, and that's because a lot of times people pass away and then the beneficiaries didn't know and nobody in the family knew. So we're going to make sure that you can refer back to those articles and those videos, um, that you have emergency contacts listed on file. So the people, and I've figured this out through trial and error. These three things that I'm going to go over with you is going to save you a lot of headaches. And we find that the best people to set as emergency contacts are people that have the following characteristics, Gordon.
Yeah.
Generally, people that are between 25 and 55, because if they're too young, a lot of times they're not that responsible yet. If they're too old, they may predecease you. Um, you also maybe think about someone that is married with kids or single with dependent kids under their care, because they tend to be a little bit more responsible if they have, that type of obligation. And then someone with who you communicate frequently. So who comes to mind that's between 25 and 55, has kids, and whom you communicate with frequently?
Well,
You,
I got my niece and nephew. So
okay, perfect. So you get right. So when he says niece and nephew, tell me about your niece and nephew. How old are they? Do they have any kids? Where do they live?
yep, 30s, one kid and one on the way. Bought a
Awesome.
house, live in the city.
Nice. Perfect. So also, if you're doing this virtually, find out what state they're in, right? Because you have to be licensed in that state if you're gonna, if you can help them out. So those are the kind of qualifiers, right? Uh, when you pick up emergency contacts, and make sure you get two for the husband and two for the wife, and a couple counts as one, right? So if I list Gordon and Jennifer, that's one. If I list Christian and Roxanne, that's two for me. And then my wife might put Shonda and Giovanni, and Jay Vaughn and Dominique. So we get your four emergency contacts right there. And why do we get four? Because it's a numbers game. And I know that out of four people, at least one of them is going to reach out to us, because people are going to misplace the certificate. They're going to lose it. So out of four, it gives you a better chance of having someone that reaches out in the event that something happens. So that's kind of the whole reason why, and that's how you pick them up, and that's what you look for in emergency contact. And then now it's time to link the emergency contacts and turn them into appointments. It says if you're with the client in person, this is the best way to do it. Ask them to call the person and introduce you, and it makes your appointment setting process 1,000 times easier. Because if I'm with Shonda and Giovanni, and Shonda calls her sister from her phone, her sister's picking up the phone, right? Hey, what's up? Hey, listen, I was giving you a call because me and Giovanni are listing you and your husband as emergency contacts. I need you to speak to my agent. Could be something as simple as that. Hey, and then the credibility is transferred immediately. Okay, no hesitancy, no who, what is this about? Right? So this is the easiest way to do it. Pick up the phone, hey, and then you set it up. If you're doing it virtual, like a lot of us are doing it virtual nowadays, then there's a group text message that you can send out, that I'm going to show you what that message looks like. So the call would go something like this. I'm here with your brother, and his wife Sarah, and as he mentioned, he left you and your wife as emergency contacts on the life insurance policy, and as emergency contacts, I'll be going over and delivering a certificate that you would need in the event of a claim, if it needed to be made in the future. Our meeting will take approximately 20 minutes unless you have any further questions. We can meet in person or virtually. Um, do you have a preference? And then always work with urgency, right? Would today or tomorrow be better, 6 or 8? So this is a call that I would make as soon as Shonda hands me the phone, something like that, right? In fact, Shonda told me you live 5 minutes away. Are you guys available now? I can swing by. Yeah, sure. Come on over. Bam. Right? You just linked one appointment to another appointment.
That's hot.
Yeah. And then if you help that client out, then you can repeat that same process. So you can go from one appointment set in a day to 4 or 5 appointments set in a day if you once you become really efficient at working this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is in person. If it's a text message, then it would look something like this, right? My name is Hector. My name is Gordon. Sending you this introduction text because your brother Christian listed you and Catherine as emergency contacts on his life insurance policy. As emergency contacts, you'll receive a certificate, which you would use in the event a claim needed to be made. Since there are some important details I have to explain, I'll be reaching out to you to set up a Zoom video call. It would take about 15 minutes. I included Christian in this text thread as well, since I'm sure you get a lot of spam texts from unknown numbers. If you have any questions, reach out. So this is a message that I send as the agent to the emergency contact, and I include my client in that message. So it's like a group message
Does the
between.
client send something to them first?
No, I go ahead and because I'm a strong believer in controlling the point of contact,
Hmm.
and I want to take any responsibility away from them. The only thing that I might ask them to do usually is do me a favor, Matt, when you get this text message that I'm going to send to your brother, because I'm going to include you in that,
Hmm.
just like do a quick response, like thanks, Hector,
Okay.
something like that. But I'm taking control of sending out the message because I
Great.
want I want to control my calendar.
Good.
I want to
Great.
Got
control
it.
the fact that this actually gets done
Yep.
because people are busy, right? And if I leave it up to the client, right, they may or may not get around to it because, the kid, they just
Yeah.
like
Because
they just
everything
spilled the
happens.
cereal all over the carpet and the mom's upset and she's cleaning stuff
Right.
up and she forgot about the whole thing and she didn't
Yep.
send it
Right.
out. Now I'm calling and they
You're
didn't
pestering
receive the
them
text
now.
message. Yeah. They didn't receive the text message from the brother or sister. And then they're like, who is this about? What is this about? No, she didn't let me know anything about this.
Right.
Right. And then now you're having to go back and forth. Right. So if you're in person, do it when you're there. Have them call right there. If you're not in person, send out this message. Ask your client just to text an okay or thank you or something like that.
Hey Hector,
Question, Hector. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Yvette.
when you do the face to face, when you go to the people's home right there, do you carry with you all the time the emergency contact certificate so you can fill it out there, or how do you do that?
No, 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 no. I'm going to get to that in a second,
Okay,
about
okay,
how and when I fill it out. But this is just kind of setting it up, right? Okay, so now
okay.
that we've set it up, okay.
Can I ask you a question, Hector, real quick?
Yeah.
So, have you ever done this same thing on Zoom? Like, if you've been on the Zoom with your client, let's say, and then you say, "Hey, can you call your sister for me really quickly and just let her know that I'm gonna be reaching." Well, can you call your sister? It's kind of the same thing, but like, have you ever actually done that same thing over Zoom?
I haven't, but it might work. I just figured like it's a little bit, and that might be a me, mental block thing, where it's like me trying to speak to them on speaker over the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm just asking because have you ever, I'm sure you've done three-way calls with your clients over Zoom for like investments and stuff like that. I know I have. Um, and they've been on speakerphone and I've been talking to the company and they can hear me just fine. So I was just
Oh
wondering,
yeah, yeah, you could do
have
that.
you?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that might be something I'll probably implement. You know, and then I'll.
What do you, what do you mean, Sonja? I mean, Shonda, like they can join your Zoom right now?
No, like let's
Okay.
say for instance, I was getting an emergency contact from you. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, Yvette, can you do me a favor? Can you just call your brother Gordon right now? Let him know that I'm gonna be reaching out to him. Oh, actually, can you just call him and let him know you just listed him as an emergency contact and let him know I want to speak with him really quickly. And so now
Gotcha,
you're gonna call Gordon on speakerphone while we're on Zoom. And
gotcha.
and
Okay.
I can hear Gordon and
Mm-hmm.
Gordon can hear me and we can set it up right then and there, even though we're not in person. I was just asking, had they ever,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
never
Yeah.
done it, but you certainly could do that.
okay.
That's probably
Hmm. Yeah.
more effective.
Okay.
So you set the appointment. Now what? Now you're on the appointment, right? So I just set up the appointment. I'm going to go see a vet. She was listed as an emergency contact. So this is how I do it, okay? Um, uh, this is a great way to get your foot in the door, okay? So if all you did and all you got from me was the fact that anytime you help a client, you get these emergency contacts and you qualify them and you set the appointment up, now your foot is in the door, okay? When I'm with the client, I like to get straight to the point because I set that appointment based on the fact that I'm coming over to deliver the certificate.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I do is I get straight into it, you know, what it's for, what we're going to fill out. And what I want to do in that process as I'm filling it out is I want to get to know the person, Gordon, and I want them to like me and trust me and start building that relationship from that point on.
Yeah.
Um, and then so the second point says fill out the form. While you fill out the form, get to know them with form, right? So form is, uh, tell me a little bit about your family, occupation, recreation, motivations. So in that process, you're gonna find out that some people are very open and friendly, and some people are very like one word answers, and they're like very arms crossed, and you kind of are like gauging who you're talking to. Okay. So that's really important, and I think that's going to be like you're going to find that out as you're doing it.
Hector, how do you incorporate that? Like you're asking them, "Hey, what's your, can you give me your address?" And then you're like,
I'll
"So
show
tell
you.
me a little bit about your family. Like how do you
Okay.
like?"
So here's, and I'm going to go back to the last slide, right? So these are what the forms look like, okay? And so if I'm with somebody in person, like I'm talking to Yvette, this is what we're going to fill out. This, as you can see at the top, it's a contact request form. Keep this in a safe place. That paragraph basically says if your sister ever passed away, reach out to me first, then my office, then the home office. There's three parts of it. Your information, their information, my information. And as I'm filling out the insured information, because I have that information, I'm typing or I'm filling it out. And so, Yvette, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, are you originally from the area?
Yes, I am.
Awesome, cool. So, and where are you from originally? Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico.
How long you been here?
Ooh, since 1985.
Nice, long time, long
Yes.
time. And what do you do for work?
I'm a registered nurse.
Okay, how long you been doing that?
Oh, 26 years.
So, as I'm filling it out, it's like a natural conversation I'm having, about how long she's been here, what she does she like it? She mentioned you and like another brother or sister, right? How many brothers and sisters are you guys total? And so I'm finding out about them. That's how I incorporate that, and
Hmm.
I try, and this is where the relationship building starts right there, right? And you'll find out some things like they'll and another thing that I'll do for credibility is if I know Yvette and like maybe two of her sisters, which a lot of times happens, right? Because you get a lot of family members. I'll point out, hey, I know your brother, I know your other brother, I know your sister, I know your mom. So what does that do for your credibility? Immediately, it's like, oh,
Increase
like
it.
she knows my whole family. She knows my whole family. Right? They trust Gordon, right? So the guard is automatically going to be lowered.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you fill that out, and and if we're doing it online, I haven't even broached the subject of them yet. I have not talked any business pertaining to
Yeah.
them because I'm here for their brother or sister and making sure we get this. And then once I send it to them, do you have any questions, Gordon, on any of the stuff that we just went over? No? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And then
This
you
is
can
really good. Thank you.
and then you can say something like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" Like your brother obviously cares about his family, and that's one of the reasons why they decided to put this plan in place. And he trusted you enough to list you as an emergency contact because he must think of you as someone who is responsible. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Who do you have your income protection plan with? Who do you have your
Um,
insurance with?
it's only at our work. I don't have anything. Everything's at work.
Okay, awesome. So there's one of three responses that you're going to get, okay, from that. And this is your transition, right? After you're done filling it out, after you send it, any questions? No, everything good? Okay, perfect. By the way, transition. And then they're either going to say they have no coverage, they have coverage through their employer, or they have some kind of private insurance,
Yeah.
right? And then it goes back to the straight line, right? If they say that they have no coverage, then you ask these straight line questions, right? You didn't have it because A, B, or C. Important, not important, affordability, if it was affordable, any reason why you wouldn't. So you go through the straight line. Uh, if they don't have any coverage, this is what you ask.
The closing pages,
The
no
closing
coverage, yes
pages.
coverage.
If they have insurance, then you ask those questions, right? Are you overinsured, underinsured? You're not sure. We find everyone greatly benefits by allowing us to evaluate their existing program. Our promise is that we're never going to ask you to make any change to any program unless there's a significant advantage and it's obvious to you. You go through it.
Yeah.
And then you do a comparison if they have insurance. Now, if they have insurance through group, then do you know the difference between insurance you get through your employer and private insurance? And then you go, and then there's a presentation. There's like a comparison between group versus private, and then you get into that. Right? After you've destroyed group, now that you understand the active at work requirement, Gordon, do you understand why it's inexpensive? And he'll say,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Why
Yeah.
exactly is that? So wouldn't you agree that it's critically important for your family to be fully protected, whether you're able to work or not?
We've
One of
been,
the questions in
yeah.
the beginning right there is if there was something in your policy that would prevent it from paying out, would you want to know about it?
That's a really great question too. Yeah. So that's something we can add in there as well.
If there's something in your policy that would prevent it from being paid out, would you want to know about it?
Or if I have work insurance. Oh, awesome. If there was something in your work insurance that would prevent it from paying out, would you want to know about it?
I would.
Are you familiar with the actively at work provision?
I am not.
Check this out.
I like that. So that's it. So it could even be that would be the first question. If they tell you they have it their work, you can ask that, right? Versus asking
Good.
this, or maybe a combination of both.
Or yeah, both. I would ask both of them. You understand the difference between those? No, I don't. And then ask if it was going to not get paid out.
So that's kind of like the cycle, right? So you went from helping a client to getting the emergency contacts, setting the appointment in the right qualified market because you qualified the emergency contacts.
Sure.
Now that you've set up the appointment, now you're on the new appointment, you go over the certificate, give it to them, and then now you transition to do you have anything? You help the client out, you educate them, depending on the situation. And now you got the new app, and now you repeat the process.
That's great.
That's excellent, man.
Now, what you do and, on the appointment and all that kind of stuff, I know people have different like methodology, but whatever methodology you use, once you're there, this will be a good way to get referrals and get your foot in the door. And once you're there, then, this is how I have kind of worked it, and it's relatively effective. Or
Let's say it's a COD. Would you still do the process that way, or would you wait till it's issued?
so you know how
What do you
you
mean? Ask for the emergency contacts?
yes, yeah. So I think
Run the play if it's a COD. Are you going to run that exact same play then, or are you going to run it after it's issued?
So you know how before we started training, one of you guys mentioned at some point in your career you have to get to a point where you're like, I have to get this done.
Yeah.
I have to go after it. So when I was doing this back in 2018, I was at that point in my career. I was like, I have to get this done. I have to work with like extreme urgency. So what I would do is, without exception, on every appointment, even if it was a COD, I would run this play. Okay. Um, Now it's a little bit different, but if it's a COD and they have a bunch of health related issues, okay. Um, and you can ask them like a lot of times what I'll do is like, Gordon, based on all the questions that you answered, there's a possibility like if it's a COD but they may have one or two issues,
Yeah.
I'll ask them. There's a high likelihood that you're going to qualify, right? Based on my experience. So what we can do is, my suggestion, we have emergency contacts and you explain it and I can reach out to them now, or we can wait till you qualify to take care of that. So I give them the option.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So,
But
and a lot of that's driven by, it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. It's you got to get it done. You got to get it done. It's like now or never. And some people have an opinion of, well, I'll just wait. They have this, in a way that could burn you.
Yeah.
You're waiting and waiting, and then you forget about it, and then you
Yeah.
don't have this sense of urgency,
Yeah.
and it never happens.
Right.
But I have a question. Just okay, let's say they don't qualify or whatever, and then you said let's wait until, but let's say that person that they're going to be an emergency contact, they don't have any protection, so in a way we cannot deny them to have the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we still have to think about that.
Yeah. And it's a little bit harder. It's not a, I mean, it's different. It's easier to set up the appointment the way that I just went over it
Uh-huh.
versus, I got the COD, they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's like, okay. I mean, I can still call the person. It's still a referral, right? But it's just now you have to be a little bit more skilled to set up that appointment. It'll be a different approach.
I would call right away, no matter what it is.
Right away. Do it right
Yeah.
away.
COD or whatever, go. And then it's
Yeah.
almost a powerful story if the person gets declined and you get a new client. It's like, man, it's a good thing we met with you because your friend who introduced me, they actually, and you're not going to tell them they got declined, but
No, 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 no.
it's something that you can talk about as life insurance isn't something you buy. It's something you have to qualify for.
Yeah.
So get it
Well,
going. Don't wait.
get it going.
Mm.
I've had so many situations, Gordon, where like I'll take an application that was a COD, and then that one COD, I ended up seeing like 20 people from that one that ultimately ended up not qualifying. But if
Wow.
but if I had not worked with urgency, I would not have met those 20 people that I ended up meeting and helping a lot of those.
Now,
So
what do your
let's say
numbers look like when you set an, you get 4 emergency contacts? How many people schedule?
It's almost 100% because it's like their closest people, right?
And
It's
then of those 4, how many people do you get to do an actual presentation with? Because, like you said, some people are arms crossed, one word answers. Like it's hard to do a
yeah,
presentation with emergency contacts sometimes.
it's a very high percentage because I'm trying to get to know them and I'm trying to because if they like you and trust you, they're more likely to do business with you.
Yep.
Okay.
now, can you go back and let's say you didn't get emergency contacts for the last 3 months? What would you do? Would you go back to those clients?
That's what I did when I learned about this and I started implementing this. I went back to my client list and I called them and I tell them, hey Gordon, listen, we met. The company is actually requiring us to add what's called emergency contacts, and then I explain what it is, and then you can get busy. Just going back to those clients that you helped out, but you didn't get emergency contacts for.
Get a name and a
Good
number,
stuff.
start sending the text messages,
Yes,
and go.
and go. Yeah.
Gives you a track
Wow.
to run on and create some new clients.
Yes. And then, yeah, I mean, investments will come out of that. New recruits will come out of that. It's just activity, right? A lot of activity is going to come from you running that play.
But it's warm activity, not
It's
cold.
warm. Yeah. It's efficient.
It's hot almost.
Who
Yeah.
can show of hands on here? Can anybody today go back and find some life clients they've written in the last 90 days and go get some emergency contacts?
Certainly.
So I think that's activity, guys. That's creating activity. Ace says he's got 4. He's got 2 here, 2 here, right? Um, but yeah, you can create activity right away with this system.
Gordon, can I say something? I don't know if Tanisha is available, but I would definitely love for her to be able to share because I've been teaching her how to get emergency contacts, and she actually calls them herself, and she sets up the appointment herself, and been having success with actually talking to emergency contacts. Tanisha, are you here?
Yes, I am. I do have a 10 o'clock, so I will be hopping off, which is emergency contact appointment. So I will be getting off in a few minutes.
Go,
Okay.
go, go.
Can you share a little bit about how the process has been for you versus just asking for referrals?
Um, it's pretty simple. Follow your coach lead. If they tell you, to make the call, ask the questions, make the call and ask the questions. Don't procrastinate. I've done that a couple times and learned from that as well. But yeah, I would just say remain coachable and trainable. Whatever your coach telling you, they're not lying. So it's literally a simple call. I haven't really got any pushback from anybody, possibly because of the credibility. and with the people that I've already had conversation with. But on top of what Shonda say, when Shonda get on the call, so things have been pretty cool. Just be coachable.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Thanks, Shonda. Thanks, Denisha. It works. That's what I'm hearing, right? It works 100% of the time. If you work, it works.
Yeah. I don't know if you we have a couple minutes, but Matt, did you want to maybe take some time on another training and do a basic training for people on another day, or did you want to add one or two points?
I think what would be best is you and I to get together and let me go through some stuff with you, and because I think you were really thorough. So I think if I added anything, it would be more confusing than anything else.
Okay.
But I
And
would like
maybe,
to get with you and show you a
and
couple of things and see if there's anything that you would add or
yeah,
change.
what I think we could do on a follow-up is like I can do a role play. Like okay, we're on the appointment. Let me role play actually filling this thing out and like
Yep.
going through the transitions and
That's the key part. The biggest part of the whole thing is the transition from form to now I want to do an appointment.
So we can
Hector, would you be able to put the YouTube video and would you be able to share the link to that?
You talking about this one right here or that video that he just looked up?
The video that he shared.
Yeah, I'll put that on there. I found it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's a new one, and it's
Yeah, I
good.
never saw it either.